Hi, I'm James Warren from OA Systems, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Customer Service Hub in Dynamics 365 and how this links into your inbox, potential with chatbots, omni-channel, and also how it links with surveys. So over the past few releases, Microsoft have made some quite significant updates to what you get with the out-of-the-box Customer Service Hub, and we've been implementing these for our clients. And this video is to show you some of the interesting things that the system can do. So as this is a system that sits inside the Office 365 portal, I have linked this to my Exchange, I've linked this to my SharePoint. You'll see up in the corner here, it's also linked to Teams. And some of those things will come up as we go through this presentation. I'm starting with the Customer Service Hub. I will also show you some of the other apps that are available out of the box, but we'll step through just the case creation, standard case creation, and how this can deliver some streamlining. So a lot of case creation either comes for organizations that are receiving information inbound either through emails or through phone calls. More commonly these days is coming through chatbots and web portals. So Microsoft are currently under preview with being able to have your Teams integrate into Dynamics. And if you receive an inbound call, you can set what happens there. It can do things like transcription, pop open a case creation, and we'll drill into that in a separate video. But if we come in here, what I'll do is essentially come in and as if I am creating a new case. So you'll see here I've got a couple of cases set up in this environment. What I've actually gone and done is I've gone to the Microsoft Help area in the platform. So you'll see if you click on that question mark button in Dynamics, it will take you to the docs.microsoft.com and with a particular focus on Dynamics. So you'll see here it's actually brought me into the sales area. If I click on the header part, I can go into the customer service documentation, and you'll see there's a lot of information about what you can do with the platform. So I'm just going to open this for a later point in the video. For example, I'll come in and show you a case that already exists. So somebody came in and asked me that they wanted to configure a chat channel, and what I've done is I've set up the case, attached it to the person, given that case a title, and gone in and selected a subject. And you'll see here my answer, I've put in the description, a whole lot of information. But some of the things that can happen is, obviously, as with anywhere else in the system, you can drive that through a case process. So if it isn't something you resolve in a one call or a one engagement, you can have steps. Those steps can do smart things like do case routing, so hand it off to somebody else based on a selection. It does track how long it is that the case has existed for, and it also shows you how long it's been in each stage of engagement. So you'll see as I click on that, that's now less than 1 minute, but it does show us the case is active for 2 hours. The reason that's in the system is you can set up case escalation tools, and they can be driven either off the last time you've updated, since case creation, or when something has been picked as a status or something along those lines in the system. You can get traffic lights to show up on your cases, the red, orange, and green. So obviously green is within the SLA, orange is that you are outside of the criteria of expectation, and red is when it has fallen outside SLA. So you can use that for reporting purposes and also escalation. So if we have a look at this landing page, as I mentioned, there are some general summary details of the case. Obviously, you can have more information such as attached service level agreements, and if there are other cases with this particular organization. But one of my more favorite things is the ability over here to have a number of different criteria show up in the multi-view form. So you'll see what we've got here is recent cases and entitlements. In this case, I haven't set up any entitlements for this client, but my next favorite button is the Knowledgebase. So what you'll see here, and you can actually move that to the top so it opens as you save the case. But what the system has done is I've set it up so it goes and looks at the case title field here, and also it looks at subject, and what it will do is go and search the knowledge base and bring up, you'll see here, sort of by relevance. And you do get control over what relevance means, so it can be that it contains some knowledge base topics, or the knowledge base article itself contains the words, what date it was published, other information like that. So you'll see here we have a couple of bits of information showing up on that record. So I've already linked this to this particular case. So I've said this is going to be the answer, and that's what this button here does. It links it to that record. You can actually click on it and you can go and see the detail of what's in that knowledge base article for yourself. And if for your end user you want to send that information to them, what you can do is click on that email icon. It will attach it to the relevant record. You'll see it opens it up in an editable format, so I can come in here, and if I haven't set it up to do things like put in a dear first name, you can come in and add additional details in there. Part of the email capability in this platform is you can follow the email record and also schedule a follow-up. So that may or may not be important to your support team. And while you're in this email format, the reason why you'd use this over Outlook is you have access to things like document templates and also other knowledge base articles that you can insert. So what you can do, I'm just going to save it rather than send it, but you can basically create quite a detailed response to somebody on their case, and that will be, as other things are, tracked on the timeline of that record. The other component we can see in here is if you have set up any analytics tools around similar cases, if you've got things like key topics and subject types that are similar, it can suggest cases for you to go look at to see how you solve that other case. Unfortunately, in this demo, I will be honest, I haven't set that up. The other thing that is quite interesting in being relevant for people who are working in support desks is if you have Teams set up in your environment and somebody does need assistance while they've got the case open, we now have this new icon for Teams chat up here, and what you can do is basically go and create a new chat and start a conversation with another member of your internal team, or if you've got externally facing, you can do that as well. So you do have the Teams integration. That doesn't show up on the timeline as yet. We'll keep you informed about how Microsoft are linking these two things together, but this does mean you have the ability to jump straight into Teams inside this one UI without having to go out into Teams separately and try to work out how to link it to the system from there. The other thing is, obviously, many customer service desks are looking for the ability to be able to send Net Promoter Score surveys following up cases. So you'll see what I've done is I've linked Customer Voice, and in Customer Voice, we have created a survey. If you're not aware of Customer Voice, it's the survey creation tool for Microsoft. And what I've done is we've got a periodic customer feedback survey that I've created in here, and when I've done the send, what I've done is I've linked that send because a part of our license in Dynamic actually allows us to have the Customer Voice Pro tool, which allows you to link surveys to Dynamics. And what you do is when you come into the templates, there's actually a pre-made send a survey when a case is resolved in Dynamics. And what I've done, if I click on the right thing, what I've done is added this button in here. So I can either have it, when I've resolved the case, automatically send an email, or if I want to choose a different email, survey, I have only set up the one. What I can do is trigger that, and it will just say, who am I sending it to, and what is the survey type that we're going to send. And then that will be sent out, and that survey response will be linked back to this record. So other things that are just basic case creation tools is you can add cases to queues. Queues are different from just having a case list. A queue can mean that you have an inbox in your environment, and if somebody sends a particular message to that inbox, it can put it into a queue. Multiple members of your team can have access to that queue. I don't honestly have any queues set up at the moment, but if I come in here and I was in a queue, what it would do is give me a list of all the cases that were available for me, and when I went and clicked on one of those, it would take it out of the queue. I can always put it back in, but it would just remove its visibility from our other team members. So you can see you can either have it automated to drop into a queue, or you can hand it off to a queue yourself, and you need to set up queues to be able to do that. That's one way of passing off to other members of the team, or you can save and route that, and basically what it will do is look at the active routing rule set. So if you've selected some information on this form, and that's relevant information, so you've got an option set that says this needs to be escalated to a manager, that will then route that off. So that's general case management in Dynamics. Some of the things that happen there start to become quite interesting. So you'll see if you've got a team that's well educated in responding to your clients, and you want them to be able to do something along the lines of self-creation of knowledge base articles, I already have a configure a chat knowledge base article here, and I have actually used some information this is the same as what's in that knowledge base article. But if I'd had somebody who'd self-serviced an answer, they'd perhaps gone to an external website, grabbed some information, brought that back and dropped it into the team, what you can do is use the convert to option to create a new knowledge base article. So I'm just going to click on that to show you what this does. So you'll see I've got that mapped at the moment, so it'll read the case title and bring that with it. It will grab the content from this field. We can map that to a different field. It will also grab the subject type, and we can go in and adjust any of these things as we're dealing with the record. So you'll see in here I could come in and say, actually what I want to do is have this specifically about knowledge base. I don't have chat set up in here. And do I want to open the record? So what that will do is by default automatically go and create a knowledge base article. It will grab the details from that record, and you'll see it will populate that in various areas of the system. Now, one of the things that I found most interesting about the updates that Microsoft are bringing is still under preview, but I have been using it in environments, and the current preview version is working as you would expect. So you'll see here, view suggested keywords and descriptions. If I click on that, it's using AI tools to go and read the information that is in that knowledge base article and try and identify keywords and write a suggested description. So you'll see here it's gone and dropped some information. So you can have a look at this and see, is that something you want to use? I'm going to, in this case, say yes. Oh, and we've exceeded the character limit. So that's an interesting thing to manage there. So you can come in and say, I'm going to select this, and you'll see this has gone and selected some good pieces of information. I don't really want this to have digital messaging channels in here, but I do want customer service. So as we apply those changes, you'll see it's populated those keywords here and that description here. Now, I'm not going to save this, but what I am going to show you is you do get a reasonable amount of control around things like versioning control and whether it's made visible externally, and we'll talk about what that means in a moment. So you'll see we've got basic settings, internal, external, status is proposed. What that can mean is who it's visible to. So what you might do is say, yeah, I want to publish this externally, but it hasn't been approved yet. So our internal team is able to see it, and they can suggest it and send it out via email, but it isn't showing up on our website. And obviously you come in here and you have the ability to approve this and publish it. Now, I've already created the same record here. So what I'm going to do is go to my knowledge base articles, and you'll see here's my list. And that one that I just created there is in draft, and this one is in publish. Some of the interesting things you get is the ability to see how many views that has had through various sources. So every time somebody's going in and reading that knowledge base article, you get some visibility, which is great. But there's a next level that Microsoft's gone to with us. The other thing I'll just show you while I'm in this screen is the ability to create new from template. So if you have a standard set of tools that you add inside any knowledge base article, such as keywords, references. You've got even the case that you want to pre-name your knowledge base articles, or you've got one that's a learning article, one that's a support article, one that's a FAQ article. You can go and select the particular type of template, and it will go and preload that information into the knowledge base article form for you there. And what I will show you is I did open this screen here before. Let's go into this one. So if we come in and we want to just be able to grab the information, obviously you need to sit with inside your company's rules about what information you can publish in your Knowledgebase articles. You'll see you can get text, you can embed pictures. If I had links, they would also show up in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to save and close that. And I will just go into, I believe, this knowledge base article here. So you'll see here's one, and I'll show you the preview that's got that level of detail that it goes through, and the hyperlinks are available for you to click on and will take you outside. So all of the criteria that I seem to have run into for organizations, they want to know, can we control the look and feel? Yes, absolutely. Can we view what it looks like on different devices? You have that control over here. Can we embed pictures, and can we embed hyperlinks? So all of those things are available, and you get some analytics based on that at a more detailed level. So you'll see here, I can see how many times this has been viewed and where. If you set up feedback, so you can set up like a thumbs up, thumbs down, you can set up a star rating, something along those lines. You can also add comments if you'd like. And you can also see that it's been attached to that case. So if you saw when I was in a case earlier and I had linked to the case, this is your visual analysis for this particular knowledge base article. So hopefully that gives you an idea there. What we have also is the ability for the team to come in and to be able to search for that just inside a general area. So if you're not in a case and you just want to see or update that information, you can go in here and click on it, and you'll see it will open up in the view that we've set up for people to be able to read. And that's the example where I've told you that shows you how many looks and how many thumbs up you've been given on an article. So that's a really good way to see if that article is engaging people who are going and looking for it, or if you've sent it to people, whether they're actually satisfied with it. As part of the core customer service hub, Microsoft have introduced insights. So what they've essentially done is created, in this case, a couple of very specific Power BI views that you can go and click on, and you'll see what I'll do here is just jump into the summary page and show you what we've got in here. So as you can see, there's some analytics up the top trying to show you, survey sentiment and basically if you're using the survey functionality, that's when you'd view it up here. You can see a view of incoming cases, active cases. So obviously I've closed a case as complete. You can see the topic metrics. So as you're starting to get those topics coming through when you're creating the subjects, if you start to get information that's grouped together, it will actually start to be able to give you some visibility that we're getting a bunch of chat-based cases. And the reason that that's useful is you can then go and click on the details and start to see some information about those. And if we did have this set up with different topics, there would be an option when we go into the topic function here, and unfortunately this isn't available in this demo at the moment, on that particular topic to be able to link it to your chatbot and create a new chat knowledge base response based on a particular topic. So please reach out to me if you want to see more detail about that. We just had a number of things to address in this video, and that was one that didn't quite make it through on the list. So you'll see this is designed to give you the summary of how is our team working, what is their responses. I do only have one person in this environment who is creating cases, closing cases, resolving them. It will give you the basic analytics of how quickly they're resolving them. if you're sending that survey, how satisfied people are with them. And you can break this obviously down by agent, by time. You get to be able to filter by different periods. So you'll see if I go in here, that's a bit narrow. If I go in here, I can narrow down by a period of time, by channel, by queue, by agent. So there's a lot of just basic information that you get out of that dashboard that Microsoft make available to you. And we have a similar thing with that knowledge-based search. So much like we went into the knowledge-based article and it showed us how many views that had, we can do the same thing here, but get slightly more insight, which is showing you across the whole level what's the engagement if they type something in and they don't get a response. And you'll see I had some older articles in here that I didn't publish, or that are not published at the moment, and you can see historically there's some ability to see what people were searching on there. But we do then talk to people who want to go to that next level. They have high volume, high speed, ongoing engagement with people. And what Microsoft have done is created this customer service workspace. So you'll see here what you get is the ability to be able to manage multiple things on one page without having multiple tabs open. So you'll see here I've got the dashboard. I can go in and just create a list of cases. I could also, if I had queues set up, go in there. And if I had activities I have to respond to, I could have that open. So you'll see multiple tabs, all easy and quick to jump between. But the other thing is, if I hold down the shift button when I click on a case, you'll see that's opened it down from the home page. And what I can do is actually come in and open up more than one at once. So you'll see I've got 3 cases open there all at the same time. And what that's doing is that's keeping obviously a record of when that case was opened. And if I come in here, you'll see when I pop this open, once again, I can do the chat. So if I need any assistance from the team, that's available there. We do have the information of if there are other suggested knowledge-based articles or cases, they can show up here based on those criteria that I talked about before. This is really interesting. If you want to have different scripts, now you can have a range of different scripts, and those scripts can have different steps. So you'll see agent question, what's happening with the system? Mark that as done. So that's complete. Send the survey. If I want to do that, you can actually set that up so it's a macro instead of just a text-based thing. So if I mark that as done, what that can actually do is trigger the survey at the end of this case from here, rather than doing it on as resolved. And where we see that as required is generally in organizations that may be engaging with somebody multiple times, and when you went and clicked on here, you could see maybe they have multiple cases related to them at the moment, and what you don't want to do is barrage them with the survey, and you might want to just trigger it yourself, or you might not want to trigger it. Same thing as we had before, knowledge-based search still being triggered off the case title at the moment, shows up here. If we click on it, you'll see it actually opens it in a new tab. So we can get a full screen view of what's going to be sent to them, but we still have those same options, which is I want to link it to the case, or I want to email the content. So that's where this comes in to be a nice quick way of people being able to manage multiple engagements quickly, keep things open so that if they haven't resolved them in one engagement, they can have them ready for them to drill through if they've got a pause in calls coming in, or if they've got a moment to go and close off, or they're waiting for an answer on something from another member of the team. They can just leave that sitting there. There is capacity to be able to put cases on hold with your SLA. So if you have a response time, but you've actually met some criteria, you can actually say put this on hold for the SLA, or do not increment entitlement items. So this doesn't want to be done. They are going to pay for this. They're not going to do this under their SLA engagement. And the only other thing outside of that is if you're not managing your cases from inside the system. So you'll see here what we've got is basically a landing page, a portal that's connected to our customer service desk. So those knowledge-based articles that are published externally, and if you remember when we went and looked at how many times they've been viewed. That was me coming on here, clicking and testing out the visibility of these knowledge-based articles on our website. And that's where you come in here. You can turn on and off the functionality around what's visible, whether somebody can see the views, whether they have the capacity to print. When they come in and look at this article, what knowledge base keywords are bringing them to the site. And you'll see on our landing page we have most popular, we have most recent, top rated. But if somebody wants to come in, they can come in here and type in something like customer, and the system will go away and look at what are the relevant knowledge-based articles and highlight why it's taking you to that article. But obviously the other thing is we have lots of people working with support desks, and if people can self-service, obviously it means your team doesn't have to take on the effort of doing the support. So if I open a new case here and I come and look for chat, what the system will do is actually suggest, before I get to the next stage of saying these are the details and these are the problems I have, they will suggest topics for people to be able to self-service before you've created the case, giving that idea of, can we get the customer what they need in advance of them actually engaging our team. This is really good when you have a great methodology around publishing knowledge-based articles, but you haven't seen people engaging them particularly well. Try and have the system auto-suggest them to them before they actually come to you. And once again, these knowledge-based articles can be used with the chatbot and have a similar experience. As somebody's typing in the topic, it will suggest those knowledge-based articles. So hopefully that gives you a reasonably good view of what you can do with the basic out-of-the-box tools of Dynamics customer engagement. There's a range of different things you can do here. So for example, if your knowledge-based articles are held in an external system, that's not a problem. Microsoft does have the ability to use its Azure powerful tools to be able to bring that information in so that Dynamics can leverage it. So, let's have a conversation about that. Or if you want your search functionality to work differently and have different filters when people are coming into the portal, if you want them to sign in using various sign-on criteria. There's a lot of control around all of those areas and a lot of detail we haven't shown here. So we would love you to reach out and have a conversation with us. But for now, that's a simple, reasonably quick video around how knowledge-based articles and case management can work in Dynamics 365. Thanks.